Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, Sonic Love. So in today's video, just going to go through PSP on the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus. I had a lot of people asking about PSP, and with the aspect ratio of the screen being 4:3, they were asking like, how does it fare up, and what are the borders like, what are the settings like, and how does it run. Well, there is a few things that you need to do on certain games in order to make them run. So in this video, I'll just be showcasing a few games and also going through the settings and what you need to do to make sure that you play at the optimal performance that you can on the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus. If there is any games or any other games you wish to see running on here, please don't hesitate to put it in the comments and I will gladly do another video on this. I will also absolutely adore if you hit the like button, and a share would be absolutely amazing. And as always, let's get right into the video. So I'm going to kick things off with Outrun Coast to Coast, because this is one that I've had people saying that why is mine running so good, and others saying that they're glitchy and it just doesn't run properly. So what I'll do is I'll show you the optimum performance that it has, and then just go through the basic normal settings, which it will be stock, and then show you the difference and then what to do in order to get it running peachy perfect.
Keep passing cars. Let's start. Yeehaw! Woohoo! Yeehaw! Yes! That was good. Checkpoint. Cut the line. Let's start. Are you going to...
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to check out the settings. So you will need to have the Vulcan back end. You'll need to have skipped buffered effects on. You'll need to have no frame skip. If you scroll down, it needs to be on 1x resolution. When you go on to skip buffer rendering, it will automatically lock off the rendering resolution, so be aware of that. There is no hacks on, everything else is on high. But if, say for instance, if we take it to OpenGL, this is what it'll be on stock. It'll be OpenGL and it'll be 2x resolution. So if we go to buffered rendering, 2x resolution, go back, and we start up the game again, you'll see that initially it is 60 frames. But as we go through, you'll see that it just drops dramatically in performance levels. And even if we take it down to 1x, you'll see that we're just still not quite hitting it. Around about 50 frames per second.
Hit the
So let's change the settings back. So let's go to Vulkan. Change it to 2x resolution. Skip buffer rendering. And go back. Let's test that out now.
Hit the cars. Let's start. No. Keep passing cars. Let's start. Great. Checkpoint. Hit the cars. Let's start. You're the best. Dribble the beach ball. Let's start. That was fantastic.
So as you can see, you have a better experience with those settings. So let's move on to the next game. So this is Gran Turismo. Now we're keeping the optimum settings for Outrun, carrying it over to this, just to see how well this performs. It really is trial and error with some of the games, guys. So as you can see, we're getting 20 frames per second, which is not good. So what we're going to do is we're going to automatically go to settings. Let's change the settings to OpenGL. Let's scroll down and go on to our resolution. So let's put buffer rendering on. Let's keep 2x resolution and see how that plays now. Let's try the hardest course. So about 45 frames, 46. So let's just lower it down to 1x resolution. And now we're on 56, all the way up to 60 frames per second. So if you want a great experience on Gran Turismo, it needs to be OpenGL, skip buffered rendering, 1x resolution, and you'll have your 60 frames per second, and still with the screen with the orientation of the 4:3 aspect ratio, and the screen being only 3.5 inch, I think it was. It still looks really nice. And as you can see, you have the border on the top and the bottom. If you want to change that, you simply just go to settings. You scroll down to display layout editor. you'll see that it fills the whole screen. Personally, I don't mind it, and you certainly don't lose that much because it's only about ½ an inch anyway. But that's just personal preference. Next game is Wipeout, so what we're going to do is we're just going to skip it back to the bare minimum, which is OpenGL, buffer rendering, 1x resolution, no frame hacks on, and we're going to see how it plays out. It's 60 frames per second at the moment.
Shield active. Mine.
So drop down to 44 with a few effects on the screen now, but it's only for a brief second and it's barely noticeable. Let's see what we can do if we want to bump it up a bit. So let's go to settings. Let's try 2x resolution. Still at 60. With occasional dips. As you can see, it's dipping down. So what we'll do is we'll go to skip buffered rendering. And we're getting more of a consistent 60 frames per second. So that is the best one that I would say to use. Next one is Midnight Club, LA Remix. So as you can see, we're getting a really poor 27 frames, 26 frames. So let's go to settings. Let's go with 1x resolution. And we're jumping up to 50 frames, which is still not the best. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into a quick game. As you can see, on 35 frames, 31 frames. Yeah, running 14 to 12 frames per second. So let's see what we can do with this. Settings, OpenGL, skip buffered rendering. Just take it down to 1x. Let's go to, if it doesn't work by graphically, then you need to swap it to Vulkan backend. And normally skip buffer rendering normally works then. Still on 1x resolution, and the game requires buffered rendering to do so. We're going to kind of struggle with this one, guys. So let's see how we fare with just buffered rendering, 1x resolution, and see how we get on. Let's change. These are harder games to emulate, by the way. Okay. Let's try this again. Quick race. Okay, so let's try more. Let's go to OpenGL. Buffered rendering, because we need to keep that on, otherwise the game will not run at all. And I think we're definitely going to have to do a frame skip of 1. So let's do frame skip of 1 and see what we get. So it's still in and out on the frame rate. So what we can do is we can go to settings and then we can try, in fact frame skip wasn't on, so let's do a frame skip of 1. There we go, sorry about that, guys. So as you can see, a frame skip of 1 is locked it to 30 frames per second, and we're getting some really consistent frame rates. The best you can get it. This is a harder one to emulate, guys. Let's try Ratchet and Clank. So let's quickly pop to settings. I'm going to go with OpenGL. I'm going to take frame skip off. Going to be on 1x resolution, just your standard settings. Go to continue. The frame rate is always low in the 20s, even on the original game itself. Okay, so we're at 30 frames per second, 1x resolution. As you can see, it's dropping down, going to 28. If we go to settings, let's go to skip buffer rendering. As you can see, we're running at a constant 30, 1x resolution. As you can see, it starts to go in and out on the graphics. So what we can do is we can swap it over to Vulkan. We can do skip buffer rendering. Take the frame skip off. And now you can see we're at 30 frames. There is some minor graphical glitches again. So with this game, there's just no way that you can actually get it running at a constant 30. So you will have to take it back down to OpenGL. Or leave it on Vulkan. Let's leave it on Vulkan. Let's do buffered rendering. Keep it at 1x. And as you can see, we're getting really low performance. Let's try with a frame skip. Let's do frame skip of 1. Which cuts the frame rate in half. We have no graphical glitches, and it's definitely playable. So let's try it with OpenGL. OpenGL. So we've got OpenGL, frame skip off, 1x resolution. What normally helps, I know it may sound weird guys, but if you take skip buffered rendering off, if we go to 2x resolution and put a frame skip of 1, we get the same level of performance, but we're at a higher resolution. So these are my optimum settings that I use to play Ratchet and Clank. It looks nice. And it plays okay, it's definitely playable. And also looks really nice.
Press the L button and R button at the same time to crouch. Press the X button while crouching to do a high jump.
Okay guys, I'm going to leave it there. If there is any other games that you wish to see running on it and testing with the settings, whether it be Vulkan backend, skip buffered rendering, just to get the best performance out of any games that I haven't showcased here, please let me know in the comments and I'll do a video on that. I hope that helped for anybody that's new and just getting into retro handhelds. Chose the Retroid Pocket 2 and is just a little bit annoyed that sometimes the games aren't working just how they are shown on videos. As always guys, a like would be great, a share would be even better, and take care.